All right, we welcome to this special edition of 49ers Live, the training deadline. Professor B, we're live here a little bit after 12 or 11 o'clock local time. We're going to be here till 1 o'clock for this trading deadline. We'll have open lines, though, too, if you want to talk what the 49ers are going to do. Our hotline, if you want to talk, it's 510 665 as there's some transactions going through already around the NFL. We'll take a look. And this is according to Tom Plasario that the New York Jets have traded three-time Pro Bowler Quinn Williams to the Dallas Cowboys, a big blockbuster trade. The Jets will get a they'll get a first-round pick and more for Williams, who gets a fresh start at the age of 27. So that's one of the big news of the day so far. This is according by, and then cornerback Sauce Gardner. He is going to the Baltimore or to the Indianapolis Colts, and the Jets will receive two first round picks in 26 and 27, and the Jets get back Adonai Mitchell from the Jets. So, and then the Seahawks has acquired Rashad Shaheed from the New Orleans Saints. That's according to Ian Rappaport. And
he's like, I can't use it. We were pre-taping it. I said, yes, I was alluding to the.
so this is some. We're going to hear from this trade. Yeah. So this is according to NFL Network. The Seahawks acquiring wide receiver Rashid Shaheed from the Saints, and we don't know what they'll be getting. So the 49ers are going to see who they could get. Bradley Chubb is still out there for the Miami Dolphins. We'll see. And then Trey Hendrickson for Cincinnati, still out there in the market. Of course, we're now at 11:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trade deadline ends at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Professor B, right here on, as we taking a look around the rest around the league of. So the big story of the day, of course, Quentin Williams, and actually this is also from Ian Rappaport. Niners Radio 49. We will take this time out and we'll be back in a few moments. The 49ers will take on the Los Angeles Rams for showdown for first place in the NFC West this coming Sunday at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. Purchase your game tickets at Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Ticketmaster.com is the official ticket provider for your San Francisco 49ers. Welcome back on 49ers Live, special edition of 49ers Live. And as always, you can always check out my content, or I'm on Twitter as well, Twitter X. It's Twitter X at Professor B at Niners Radio 49. Follow all the tweets. So we are continuing on Niners Radio 49. We're going to get some NFL trading deadline news coming through the wire as we continue. As teams are continuing to improve the club, their chances for postseason, as so. Looking at the NFL so a reminder, the trading deadline is concluded at approximately 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. Central Time, as we're giving you some of the updates of what's going on of the trading deadline. That we're trying to see if any other news is coming down. So Williams is headed to the Dallas Cowboys. Sauce Gardner is headed to the Colts. Quinn Williams goes to the Cowboys, and the Jets will receive a second round and a first round pick. Second round pick in 2026 and a first rounder in 27, and for defensive tackle Matsy Smith. And then the Jets trading, and that's a big trade. And then Chicago Bears adding on. The Bears acquiring defensive end Tyron Shoyinka from the Cleveland Browns. Chicago lost Dale Ogdemigo to a season-ending Achilles injury on Sunday. And then the Seahawks picked up big, getting Saints wide receiver Rashid Shaheed from the Saints. And so far this season, he has 44 receptions, 499 yards, 2 touchdowns in 9 games. He was an all-pro punt returner 2 years ago, becomes an unrestricted free agent after this season. Saints acquired him for a 4th and 5th rounder and 26 in the draft in that deal. And then Sauce Gardner is going to go to the Indianapolis Colts. And then the Jaguars trade for Raiders wide receiver Jacoby Myers. He'll be heading down south to Jacksonville. The Jaguars send their 4th and 6th round selections in the 2026 draft to the Raiders for Myers. Sources have said multiple teams, including the Pittsburgh Steelers, have shown interest in Myers, as scheduled to become a free agent after his contract expires after this season. So we're here on live with a special edition of 49ers Live, the NFL trading deadline. We're going to be here at the time now is at 11:32, a little less than. We'll be here for more than an hour and a half. Continue with all the latest developing news stories of the trading deadline. You want to talk about the trading deadline, what the Niners, for their needs for a pass rush? The hotline right now is 510-457-0665. That's 510-457-0665. 0665 if you want to talk 49er football, what the Niners need to do at this trading deadline. So glad you guys are joining in this morning here, and the Niners getting ready for a big game coming up on Sunday as they take on the Los Angeles Rams at Levi Stadium. Kickoff time will be at 1:25 p.m. Pacific, and that will be on Fox. That will be part of the Fox second game of their doubleheader weekend. So but we'll try to catch up on some updates on more trading deadlines that's come through. Of course, only 90 minutes left of this trading deadline. We're going to be here until about 1 o'clock on Niners Radio 49, special edition of the trading deadline. And we're going to... So we are just going to be yep, so we are so we're going to try to get somebody on while we're doing this podcast to see uh, just a reminder, there is a giveaway. 49ers Back Home Trivia Tuesday. Answer 10 questions for a chance to win a signed helmet by Dominor Lanier. You can play on the app. Go to 49ers.com. So all you have to do is answer 10 questions. You got a chance to win that helmet. Go to 49ers.com. So we were So we're going to just continue on 49ers live, and we want to see if the Niners any news on what they're going to do. And yep. So we are going to. Yep. So we're going to continue on just monitoring and see what the 49ers are doing. We're going to check and see if there are any transactions going through. And by the way, if you want to, we do content as well for check out for 49ers content. Just saying, patreon.com. There we go. So we're back on. So uh, also in addition, we just recently added a new content platform. Niner fans, you can catch any of my written content about the 49ers. Go to patreon.com/SDM News Network. You can catch all my written content that I do a lot of writing on the 49ers and so much more. Go to patreon.com/SDM News Network for. So we're gonna take a little bit of a break. We'll have take another timeout break, and we'll come back. We'll continue any developing breaking news stories on the 49ers and the deadline. We'll be right back. Professor B here at the Satellite Digital Media Studios here in San Francisco. You are watching a special edition of 49ers Live NFL Training Deadline on Niners Radio 49. We'll be right back. All right, we continue on this special edition of 49ers Live, the trading deadline edition. Time now is 11:45. We're now 15 minutes before the top of the hour of 12 noon. In fact, we're an hour and 15 minutes away when the trading deadline officially comes to a end at approximately 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we're just going to be taking a look at what's going on. Taking a look at what else out there. Of course, Jay Glazer, he's reporting that. And all right. So I had heard no other reports of any other transactions right now. We're going to just taking around what's going on. Just taking a look of taking a look of any other trades out there. And then Cowboys also made a trade and acquired Logan Wilson from the Cincinnati Bengals. Ugh. So the Dolphins receiving some calls. Could they possibly the Niners be in the running to get Nick Chubb? We'll find out. So we'll see what. So we have no other news on that right now. Just trying to see what we could at the deadline. So I hadn't heard nothing, nothing the report right now, nothing on the 49ers. So we're gonna take another timeout for now, and then we'll take a few more timeout, and we'll be right back as we continue. You're watching 49ers Live, the NFL Trade Deadline Edition on Niners Radio 49. All right, Professor B, we're back here live on 49ers Live. We're now at 12:01 Pacific Standard Time. We're now 1 minute past the top of the hour of 12 noon. So we're just going to hit the reset button for all the trades going down so far from yesterday or for right now today. As the big one, the big story of the day, Quentin Williams going to the Dallas Cowboys, or the Jets trading him for a first-round draft pick. And Sauce Gardner is going to the Indianapolis Colts. And the Jets going to get 2 first-round picks. 2 ones for next year in 27, and Adonai Mitchell. And then the Saints will send wide receiver Rashid Shaheed to the Seahawks. That's according to NFL insider Ian Rappaport. Or check him out at Rap Sheet. And we're still trying to find out what's going to happen with the 49ers. Nothing word yet. Some stuff around the NFL. Colts GM Chris Ballard thrilled to have an all-pro acquisition, having the opportunity to acquire talent player like Sauce Gardner. And then the Jets acquiring defensive tackle Mazi Smith, first and 1 and 2 picks as part of the Quinn Williams trade. Let's take a look of all what's going on in the news. I'm just going to So bring some of the stuff. This is part of the blockbuster trade of the day. Quinn Williams going to the Dallas Cowboys. Still trying to find out what the Niners are going to do. Taking a look, nothing to report on right now. This is the 2026 draft capital. They'll get their first 3 picks, and they get 1, 2, 4 first round, fourth round picks. Then they get the 7th from New England. 5th round pick goes to Philadelphia, turns into a 4th round if Bryce Hoff has 8 or more sacks this season. All right, continue on 49ers Live, the trading deadline. Here on Niners Radio 49, the trade deadline edition. We are just keeping tabs of what's going on, whether the Niners are going to be able to make a trade. Nick Chubb for the the Dolphins as the team, they have already have made some trades earlier in the day. Or Jalen Phillips is going to the Philadelphia Eagles for a third-round pick. Bradley Chubb and then their safety, Minica Fitzpatrick is out there. So we haven't heard anything else. Niners trying to see, of course, we're now at so. Just taking a look if hadn't got no other news, anything, nothing new to update on. So we'll hear from the blockbuster trade. This is of insider James Potter, and this is from Bleacher Report with their thoughts about this big trade. We'll give you the audio feed as we hear inside.
A different team that has just a more of a winning culture, whatever, it does put a different persona or a different perception into refs' minds when they're reffing games. Like, I just think when you watch the Jets, even back to last year when Aaron Rodgers was there, they were just the brunt of every bad call. It never went their way. And I just would not be shocked to revisit this later when we're regrading this down the line and seeing how many DPIs or holding calls Sauce Gardner does not get while being an Indianapolis Colt. Because that was the number one thing that stood out to me. He has all of it, all the talent, all the ball skills. He's a ball hawk when the ball's in the air. He is a receiver out there, and he can strap anybody. I bet the penalties drop now that he's going to be in Indianapolis, and I would not be shocked to see that happen. But I love this trade. Yes, they gave up a lot for him, but he's going to change that defense.
We'll try to get some more insight of what's going on. And we want to get on back to as a big trade deadline. So we're gonna just here at the deadline. I'm gonna try to get somebody to come on. So we're gonna take this quick time out. We'll quick take this quick time out, and we'll come back in just a few moments. You're watching 49ers Live, special edition of 49ers Live, the trade deadline on Niners Radio 49. All right, we continue on 49ers Live, trade deadline edition on Niners Radio 49. Just stepping away a little bit just to check in on the any moves, and we're now at 12:32, a little less than under a half hour left before the trade deadline will come and go at approximately 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Central Time for any of you 49er fans listening in the Central Time Zone, 4 o'clock Eastern. So we're going to continue until about 1 o'clock on the Pacific, on the West Coast. The Niners most likely, we're hoping to see what they're going to do. It's a crazy thing when you try to make these trades at the trading deadline, the asking price and how much it's going to cost. Because you know the old saying, if you want something bad, you can't get something for nothing, So we'll see what the Niners are going to do. In case you just missed it, the big blockbuster trade of the day came by the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Jets. And it involved the Jets. The Jets are getting Matsy Smith in a 1 and 2 part of the Quinn Williams trade. That was one of the big trades. And then also Quentin Williams going to Dallas for a first-round pick. So the Jets are stocking up draft picks for looking towards the future. And then Sauce Gardner is going to go to the Indianapolis Colts. So these are about 2 or 3 different transactions involving the New York Jets. And then Sauce Gardner's going, so the Jets would get a 2026 first rounder, another first rounder for 27. They get wide receiver Johnny Mitchell exchanged for cornerback Sauce Gardner. Colts are really proactive during the trade deadline. And then the Raiders acquiring Jacoby Myers from the Raiders. And we want to hear, and Jacoby Myers from the Raiders for 4th and 6th round picks. Let's hear from NFL insider Ian Rappaport as he about this transaction. Hold on, we're going to set up again.
Jacoby Myers not wanting to be there, I think it's safe to say that was pretty clear. I mean, you look at his body language on the field, you look at the production. This one made sense for both sides. And if, players have power, right? You request a trade. That's sort of your power to be like, I do not want to be here. Teams can always respond by being like, well, we're going to keep you. The problem with keeping them is sometimes you get that. And so you're right. I get the sense, Tom, that the Raiders and, Pete Carroll, given his age, given his mentality, he always wants to compete, always wants to win now. This is one that made sense. I think if you're the Jaguars, you lost Travis Hunter for 4 games. You wanted to beef up your receiving core anyway. We'll see if they can get something done in the future for Jacoby Myers, but this makes a lot of sense as they continue what has been a stellar season in Jacksonville. Jacoby Myers not wanting to be there.
So that from NFL insider Ian Rappaport, talking about that trade. Jacoby Myers going from the Raiders to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Raiders will get in return a 4th and a 6th round pick. And then Sauce Gardner is going to the Indianapolis Colts. And then this is the one that we're all going to be talking about. Seahawks making some news, getting Rashid Shaheed from the Saints. And this is another from Ian Rappaport, NFL insider. Ian Rappaport.
Yeah, one thing that we've seen is sort of how the market gets set, right? You saw Jacoby Myers go for a 4 and a 6, and if you're a team looking to trade a receiver or trade for a receiver, you're kind of like, all right, like this is basically what it's going to take. This is how the market gets set. So you see Jacoby Myers go for a 4 and a 6. You see Shaheed go for a 4 and a 5. And, you know, there are teams that can make mistakes in free agency, who can make mistakes at the trade deadline. You sort of wonder, like, how many of these things really pay off? Well, one way to know that a player is going to fit in a system is if you have literally the same offensive coordinator that he had the previous year. That's where Seattle is. They've been looking for a fast receiver. My understanding is this has always been the target. They know what Clint Kubiak and Rashid Shaheed can do. They know how he can take the top off of defense. And I get the sense they're looking pretty forward to it in Seattle over there. Yeah, one thing that we've seen is sort of how the market gets set, right? You saw Jacoby Myers go for a 4 and a 6, and if you're a team looking to trade a receiver or trade for a receiver, you're kind of like, all right, like this is basically what it's going to take. This is how the market gets set. So you see Jacoby Myers for a 4 and a 6. You see Shaheed go for a 4 and a 5. And, you know, there are teams that can make mistakes in free agency. You can make mistakes at the trade deadline. You sort of wonder, like, how many of these things really pay off? Well, one way to know that a player is going to fit in a system is if you have literally the same offensive coordinator that he had the previous year. That's where Seattle is. They've been looking for a fast receiver. My understanding is this has always been the target. They know what Clint Kubiak and Rashid Shaheed can do. They know how he can take the top off of defense. And I get.
And this is the one, the big trade for the Jets.
For their best players, for I would say a massive trade indeed and a shift for the New York Jets. Teams have been calling the Jets for their best players for I would say more than a month now, talking about really all of them, from edge rushers, Jermaine Johnson, Quentin Williams, and Brees Hall. We talked about the conversations never, to my knowledge, really centered around Sauce Gardner. But the Indianapolis Colts have been in the market for a corner. They've been looking for just a super talented long corner, someone who fits what Lou Anarumo does, and someone who can really add to the firepower that this Colts team already has. Alante Taylor was one of the names they discussed, but you look around the league, try to see which corners are actually available and can really play. There just wasn't a ton, so they set their sights on big game hunting, and a couple minutes ago agreed to terms on just an absolute blockbuster of a deal. The Colts
Uh-oh.
are getting
We're
Sauce Gardner, the All-Pro. The Jets are getting 2 first-rounders and A.D. Mitchell. A massive trade indeed and a shift for the New York Jets. Teams have been calling the Jets for their best players for Johnson, Quentin Williams, and Brees Hall. We talked about the conversations never, to my knowledge, really centered around Sauce Gardner. But the Indianapolis Colts have been in the market for a corner. They've been looking for just a super talented long corner, someone who fits what Lou Anarumo does, and someone who can really add to the firepower that this Colts team already has. Alante Taylor was one of the names they discussed, but you look around the league, try to see which corners are actually available and can really play. There just wasn't a ton, so they set their sights on big game hunting, and a couple minutes ago agreed to terms on just an absolute blockbuster of a deal. The Colts are getting Sauce Gardner, the All-Pro. The Jets are getting 2 first-rounders and A.D. Mitchell in the deal. And A.D. Mitchell is an interesting one because he's a second-rounder. He's really talented. This was quietly one of the big targets of the trade deadline. It was another deal I thought he was actually going in. No. Turns out it's this deal. He goes to the New York Jets, Tom, in what is just an incredible situation on trade deadline day. A massive trade indeed and a shift.
So it had to be a big day for the New York Jets. They're getting, multiple first-round picks for the future. So, of the draft capital that they're getting. We hadn't had no word what the 49ers going to do at the deadline. They So they're trying to get another edge pass rusher. Of course, the Niners are going to be without Nick Bosa and two perennial All Pros and former, and two candidates to be NFL Defensive Player of the Year, both Nick Bosa and Fred Warner for the rest of the season. Now Mikael Williams is out for the rest of the year with the torn ACL he suffered on Sunday against the New York Giants in the win. And we're just, as the time is now at 12:43, we're now 17 minutes before the top of the hour of 1 o'clock. Trade deadline comes to the end at approximately 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central Time, 2 o'clock Mountain Time zones as we continue on the special edition of 49ers Live, the NFL Trading Deadline edition. We hadn't heard nothing word yet for the 49ers. We hope we can get connected with somebody, to talk with somebody. So So we're just continuing on with the trade deadline. So just a reminder, tomorrow we'll have our 49ers preview. 49ers Live tonight will commence tomorrow in the evening. We'll get you ready for the 49ers and Rams week. We hope we get some people for the Rams to come on our podcast. We'll preview the 49ers Niners and Rams. Big week showdown. Niners play the Rams this weekend, this Sunday. Then the following week they travel down to play the Arizona Cardinals. Then the Seahawks and Rams will play each other the following week as well. So we will get we'll have that, get you ready for that for this weekend. 49ers Live tonight, tomorrow, and then Thursday, or actually no, we will probably have we'll have an early version tomorrow because back-to-back nights because I have two dinner engagements tomorrow, so we'll have it earlier in the day. Time to be determined. So we're just trying to see what's going to end up happening at the deadline. And, about this trading deadline, you don't want to be giving up something because you want to try to protect those draft picks. As we're now a little minute past quarter of the hour before the trade deadline comes to an end on 49ers Live, the trade deadline edition. Professor B here at the studios here in San Francisco. And so we will Yep. So we hadn't heard from no news yet. So we just want to try to catch up some audio feed. So we hadn't heard nothing yet for the trade deadline. Time will now be a little bit 13 minutes away, or 12 minutes. 12 minutes away from the trade deadline. We had heard nothing yet. Adam Schefter reporting that the Browns are sending defensive end Joe Tyron Shakur and a seventh-round pick to the Chicago Bears in exchange for a sixth-round pick, per sources. Chicago's lost defensive end Deo Abigamingo to a season-ending torn Achilles in their win on Sunday against and now a trade for a potential replacement in 2 days. So the Ravens get Jamont Jones from the Tennessee Titans. The Titans receive a conditional 2026 fifth-round pick. So we'll hear what they're saying on ESPN. Pick up the audio feed. Yep. So just a reminder also, we've just been, for all 49er content, you can catch us on patreon.com/SDM News Network. I'll be doing live 49er content. I'll get some time later today, get a chance to write about the trade deadline. We still hadn't heard anything what the 49ers have done up to this point. Been watching on close in-circuit monitor. And but we want to hear from Richard Sherman. He's saying we'll talk about the NFC West. It's going to be a big one coming up this weekend. Niners take on the Rams this Sunday. Then the Rams the following week, and the Seahawks will battle each other for first place, while the Niners will be playing the Arizona Cardinals. And then I just don't see no team running away from this division. I think it's going to go down to the final Sunday, Week 18, the final weekend of the season. Either the Niners, when they play the Seahawks, either on that Saturday night or on Sunday. Who knows? Maybe another Sunday night game. Who knows? we are. It's going to be a good, fun second half. But let's hear what former 49er, former Seahawk Richard Sherman says about this, the best of the West. Yep. And
Francisco 49ers go to MetLife Stadium and get a dub against the New York Giants, and what a game for Mac Jones. Started the game off 14 of 14. His first incompletion didn't come until the second half. He did have a fumble in the game, but it was one of those plays that I feel like is on the offensive line. That's on Colton McKivitz. Gets beat clean by Brian Burns, and he hits Mac Jones as he's releasing the football. The fumble, great play by him, great play by Abdul Carter to catch the football. Ended up being a fumble. But outside of that, he played a really efficient game, 19 to 24, 235, 2 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey goes over 100 yards on the ground, gets a touchdown, and also has a touchdown through the air with 5 catches for 67 yards. 16 games down with a rushing and receiving touchdown. That's the most all time. Congrats to Christian. What a game from him. But the thing I want to talk about from this game was the defense. And I know in the end it looks like they gave up a little bit of points. They gave up 24 points. But in one of those plays, I gotta look and see what happened with Demo, because I couldn't tell if it was quarters, but Upton Stout went to the flat. So could it have been 3? It just looked like it might have just been a brain fart of sorts. But Brian Robinson looked really good in this game. He only carried the ball 5 times, but at 50. Like he was trying to prove a point and speak to his value, and just speak to him getting more opportunities. It's tough, when you've been a starter and you got to be a backup, and you got to keep trying to battle and fight for a chance when you're behind a potential Hall of Fame running back. It's not a place many running backs want to be, but great game for him. Jordan Kittle returns 4 catches for 32 yards. The San Francisco 49ers go to MetLife Stadium. On what we used to call a Colorado route, but a pivot route, great touchdown from him. On the defensive side, Sam Okuanu has a sack. Colin Farrell has a sack in his first game back with the Niners. That could have been a sack force fumble, but a great play from him. The 49ers
San Francisco 49ers go to MetLife Stadium and get a dub against the New York Giants,
and
what a game for Mac.
Touchdown, but after that they gave up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight 3 or 4 or 5 and out, and that was phenomenal for this team. Even after the 4th fumble in their own territory, they were able to get a force a missed field goal from the Giants. You got to give them credit. Colin Farrell, who didn't spend a lot of time away, so picked up this game pretty fast. They're excited about Keon White and what he can bring to this depleted San Francisco 49ers pass line. They have lost Bill Williams for a little while. I'm not sure about the severity of that injury, but this is still a big win. San Francisco 49ers, for all the turmoil, all the ups and downs of the season, are still 6-3. Still learning with this young defense, still figuring things out, still are active before the trade deadline, which ends Tuesday. There's a ton of rumors out there. We'll see which ones are true and which ones aren't. With the Cincinnati Bengals losing again, are they more about to deal Trey Anderson, maybe. Are there other names out there that may be available? Potentially, we will see. You can never go wrong trusting Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch and what they've done. Their track record is what it is. The way they battled throughout this season, the way the team has fought throughout this season, you got to give them a ton of credit for what they've been able to accomplish. You look online, you wouldn't think the San Francisco 49ers are 6-3 and really battling for the division lead in a really, really tough NFC West, but that's where they are. And that's the truth of the situation. They're competitive. They're doing a great job. They got a tough division game next week against the Rams at home. The McVay Shanahan game is always a tough game. Obviously, the Niners were able to pull it off in Levi's South with a very banged up receiving core. Will be making a routine. You would believe if he has a full week of practice under his belt and they feel great about the soreness that he experiences after, he'll get his first start in quite a while, in a month and a half. So we'll see how that goes. I'm sure there'll be a little bit of rust there, but they'll be excited to have their starter back. I think there may be a chance for them to get Bryce Huff back. We'll see. There's no guarantees in this game. They put Gross Matos on IR, so I'm sure they'll be looking to fill his spot. But overall, this was a good game for the 49ers, and I expect them to continue to battle, to continue to play well. If they can pull off this Rams game, if they can pull off a win against the Rams and move to 7-3, I would assume they're in the driver's seat of the NFC West. But that's a big if. The Rams are playing well. They're playing well today. They're playing against the Saints team that's been struggling today, and you expect them to win that game. So it's going to be a tough matchup. That's going to be maybe the game of the week next week. I got to see the full schedule, but it's going to be up there. That's going to be a tough game for both teams, and I look forward to seeing it.
What a win for the Seattle Seahawks. They just looked dominant on both sides of the football and in special teams. They got a turnover, but the story of this game, Sam Darnold.
All right, that was Richard Sherman talking his recapping of the Niners win. It's a big game coming up this week. The Niners and the Rams, the old rivalry. And the Niners are a half game out of a win over the Rams on Sunday. Puts them in pretty good much in the driver's seat for the division title because the Niners will be 4-0 in the division. They would have beaten the Rams twice. They would have the tiebreaker over the Rams head to head and for division title. And remember, they only lost one game in the conference and keeping them afloat for that top spot in the NFC for home field advantage throughout the playoffs because the top team with the best record in the conference, so as the AFC, they would have a first round bye. So a lot is in stake for this coming Sunday. We'll be going wall to wall coverage for the Niners and Rams, a rivalry renewed. That will be the late window, 125 on Fox, part of the Fox Sunday doubleheader. And I'm thinking, if I'm correct, the number one team, both Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady, will be bringing you the action live at the Mecca Levi Stadium. It's going to be jacked up. We will have 49ers tailgate. Will be next weekend. Next week we'll have our tailgate show. It's going to be fun at Levi Stadium this weekend. In fact, this is a rivalry weekend this weekend. We got the on Friday. We got two high school rival football games in San Francisco, in the city. We got the oldest one, the Bruce Mahoney game, SI versus SH. St. Ignatius High School versus Sacred Heart Cathedral down at Kezar Stadium. Friday night, the home of the original home of your San Francisco 49ers from 1946 through 1970. And then on Saturday, we have the Battle of the Birds in It's going to be George Washington High School Eagles hosting the Lowell Cardinal. That will be the Saturday afternoon game. And then on Sunday, we wrap up rivalry week. The weekend wraps it up with the 49ers and the dreadful Los Angeles Rams at the Mecca. That will be a kickoff time, 125 par Fox's weekend doubleheader. We'll be out there for that. We'll be right back out there. We'll be back out at the Hilton Hotel doing our pre- and post-game show right there following the game. And you get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Ticketmaster.com, the official ticket provider of your San Francisco 49ers. The time is now 1:03, 3 minutes past the top of the hour, 1 o'clock. The NFL trading deadline is now officially came and gone. No word yet what the 49ers did. We're gonna take a quick timeout and see what's going on, what the 49ers did. Did they make any transactions? The deadline is done. Maybe trades have the paperwork and all the transactions paperwork has gone through, but we'll give you a full recap of the days and all the rest of the sports on our sister page at Satellite Digital Media on our flagship affiliate. So we're going to take this time out, and then we'll be right back right after this. All right, so we continue on 49ers Live. The trading deadline has now came and went. Where now the time is at 1:07, 7 minutes past the top of the hour of 1 o'clock here at the Satellite Digital Media Studios here in San Francisco. Professor B here. So looks like the Niners did. We're not hearing any word what the 49ers did. Bradley Chubb was out there for the Miami Dolphins in trade talks and rumors. With the trade deadline has now came and went. So the the Niners, I think they're doing what is right. The whole their draft capital. I know for a lot of Niner fans reading from some other outlets feel that it's disappointing because they didn't make no big moves. But I think they're just playing it safe because you don't want to risk your draft capital to get a big name player. You know, now with the trading deadlines came and went, you could still try to get somebody off the waiver wire. I mean, Nick Chubb is now, if the Niners they could give him for a league minimum to add to your 53-man roster, because the trade deadline is now came and went as we're 9 minutes past the top of the hour of 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. The Niners could still add an edge rusher or somebody off waivers through the waiver wire. And we will, and who knows, the Niners probably may have made a trade, even though each transaction had to be faxed towards the league office and the paperwork gets done. So, it is what it is. So, the Niners going to have to make hay what they got. It's a bummer. It stinks what happened yesterday on Sunday with Mikael Williams, the rookie, tearing his ACL on that horrible playing surface at MetLife Stadium in the Niners win in New Jersey on Sunday. And then you lose both Fred Warner and Nick Bosa down with torn ACL injuries. I think I'm not surprised that the Niners didn't make no moves. These things are very, when it comes to draft picks and you're really risking the future, you want to throw all your eggs in one basket. So I think the Niners are playing it safe. The only hope now, if they could try to get a veteran off, maybe go through when the veteran clears waivers, you can get them on your roster, 53-man roster for the league minimum. So we so that was all what we heard from now, and so we we're gonna get ready to wrap it up for now. It's now in a few moments. We're gonna just reset what happened, the news of the day on So we didn't heard nothing back in return. We're just trying to make sure we don't miss anything. And we hadn't heard nothing. So nothing we've heard. And I think, you never know. There could be some trans. We're now at 1:14, 14 minutes past the top of the hour of 1 o'clock. We're about 16 minutes before the bottom of the hour, or quarter of the bottom of the hour, as the Niners didn't make no moves. So I think they're going to stand pat. We'll see what some of the players who was hurt, like Tim Bethune, come back this week. Uh, as a Krug show, we'll talk. Find some other players off the practice there, league minimum. You know, but the Giants are just, or the 49ers, I say, this race, like I said, this race is going to go down to the final Sunday. All right, we apologize for the technical difficulties. So we're going to wrap it up for now. We're now at 1:18, 18 minutes past the top of the hour of 1 o'clock. We're now about 12 minutes before the bottom of the hour of 1:30 Pacific Standard Time. The trade deadline has came and went. We're going to recap what other teams that did around the league on this busy Tuesday. We're going to recap it for you. So we're taking a look. So Quentin Williams, he'll be going to the Dallas Cowboys from the New York Jets. The Jets are going to get higher in the draft. They'll get their number ones and twos for Dallas or Green Bay 27. The Jets also acquiring defensive tackle Matzy Smith and their 1 and 2, part of the Quinn Williams trade. And then also the Jaguars acquiring Jacoby Myers from the Raiders for a 4th and 6th round pick. And then Sauce Gardner going to the Colts. And I believe they're going to be, and that's a huge trade. And the Jets will get the Colts 2 first-round picks for next year and the next. So I think the biggest winners of this trade deadline was the New York Jets, who ain't going nowhere, and I think Dallas. But only time will tell. Only time will tell how the trades dictate for the future. The Jets are in a continuous rebuilding program. Dallas is struggling. You know, they lost last night. Their defense played awful. So there's a lot going on at these trade deadlines. Well, that's going to do it. We're now 9 minutes before the bottom of the hour of 1:30. I'd like to thank all of you for watching this special edition of the 49ers trade deadline. We'd like to thank all of you for watching audio, and we've been on this really for a little over almost the past 2.5 hours. But we thank you for watching this afternoon, and we'll give you a recap of this later on and all the latest developing breaking news stories. What the Niners did, they didn't make no trades have gone through involving the 49ers or any other club. So Niners are staying pat. They're probably going to wait and see if some of these veteran players for an edge rusher gets waived, they could get him for nothing for the league minimum for the rest of the year. We'll see. We'll be on that when the time is there. That's it for now. Professor P signing off, and so long. Thank you for watching this special edition of 49ers Live, the NFL Trade Deadline edition on Niners Radio 49. This special edition of 49ers Live, the NFL Trade Deadline edition, is exclusive presentation of the Satellite Digital Media News Network, where every team has a fan and every fan has a voice. The network home of champions. 49ers football, faithful to the Bay. Wishing you a very pleasant good day.